Alright, in this video I'm going to be demoing if statements in Java. So if statements are very, very simple in Java. They're very similar in other languages as well. So if you can figure out an if statement in Java, you pretty much can figure out an if statement in almost every other language that is out there. So they're pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go to File, New Project, Java Application. And what we're going to do here is we're going to write, we want to basically do a driver's license age evaluator. So I'll show you what we're going to do here. So driver age eval. Let's call it that. Driver age eval. Okay. So let's get rid of our comments here. And basically the idea here, so the idea is that for a driver in Ontario, you must be 16 years old. So that's the magic age to get a driver's license in Ontario. So we're going to start by making the program very, very simple. We're going to basically ask the user for their age, and if they're 16 or higher, we're going to tell them, yes, you can have a driver's license. Then we'll add a little bit more complexity to that as well. So let's go ahead and get a string, int age. Let's go like that. And I'm also going to create the scanner class. Scanner input equals new scanner, and then I'm going to use the system in. And I'm probably going to have to fix my imports. Oops. Semicolon at the end. And fix the import on the scanner object. Yep. And now I can grab my age. So the first thing I'm going to do is print out the question. Please enter your age. I don't know why I put a pen there. Sometimes code completion can be a blessing, and sometimes it can be a nightmare. I did not type append. It thought I wanted append, and it changed it. So we're going to print out what is your age, or enter your age. And then I'm going to go age equals input dot next int. Okay, now I'm just going to print this out here. This is sort of just a temporary print for now. A lot of times when you write code, you want to do little tiny prints, little temporary prints like this, just along the way. Just make sure everything is working proper. Let's run it and make sure we actually get the proper age. So there's no if statement yet. I'm just double checking that this thing actually works and I actually got the right integer and everything else. So let's put down 18. My age is 18. Perfect. I know it works. Okay. Now let's do an if statement here. So an if statement basically looks like this. So we can say something like if age greater than equal 16. And what I'm going to put here is I'm going to put a curly bracket and hit enter. And what happens is NetBeans automatically put the closing one in here. So between these two yellow spots, this is the code that will run if the age is greater than or equal to 16. So in here I'm going to say system out println. I'm going to say you are old enough for a driver's license. Like that. And then what happens if they're not old enough? Like what happens if it's 14? So if their age is 14, for example, it's going to ask, is your age, which is 14, is that greater than or equal to 16? That is not true. If it's true, it goes here. But if it's false, what happens is right now it would just not run anything. So what we can do is we can put another condition called else. And the else is basically responsible for if this thing fails. So if the age is not greater than or equal to 16, it goes automatically into the else. So we can say something like this. Println, you are not old enough for a driver's license. Oops, license. Okay, let's test and make sure that this if statement works correctly. So we'll try 18 first. It says I am old enough, that's good. Let's try something underneath 16. Let's try 15. So I'm not old enough. That's perfect. Okay. Now, what if we have to do another if statement perhaps inside of here, right? Like maybe, maybe they pass a new law, and if you're over 75, you have to do an extra driver's license test, something like that. Let's do an additional if check right in here. So check if the person is over 75. So let's do another one inside here. Let's go if age greater than or equal to 75. That happens. Do another print. You must do an additional driver's test or driver's exam due to old age. Again, I'm just making a scenario up. I don't know, but if I just wanted to demo another if statement here. So you could do if statements inside of each other. So you can do if the age is bigger than 16, and inside of that, if it's also bigger than 75, it'll go here. So it should say two things now. Let's try that out. So let's do an 80-year-old person. So they're old enough for a driver's license, and they must do an additional driver's exam. And if we run it one more time, and we do, how about 50 years old? Just says they're old enough for a driver's license. Doesn't say anything about the additional test, which is good. Okay. Now, what if we want to do something like, we want to do like a range? So let's actually add another question in. Let's add in maybe their salary, something like that. And we're going to ask the user to enter their salary. You'll see where I'm going with this. I'm going to say, please enter your annual salary. And then I'm going to go salary, equals input.next double. And again, I'm just going to double check, make sure this thing actually worked out correctly. Your annual salary is, and I'm just going to print out the variable. Okay, let's run that, double check it actually works. My idea is, depending on how much money you make, I'm going to say what kind of vehicle you can buy. That's the idea here. Let's go 16, and I make, 45,000. Okay, so it's perfect. It's got my salary, and the if statement is still running. Good. Okay, let's do if statements on the salary now. This time I want to do a multi-condition if statement. So I'm going to make three categories. I'm going to do a category from 0 to 25,000. Then I'm also going to do from 25,000 up to, say, 75,000. And then I'm also going to do 75,000 plus. Those are my three categories. And depending on each one, I'll just say, you can buy a compact car here, SUV, and luxury SUV, something like that. So here's how I would do it. I can go like this. I can say if, so I'm going to do two conditions here. So I'm going to use two sets of brackets. I'm going to add an extra set of brackets here. I'm going to say if salary greater than or equal to 0. And then what I'm going to do is, right in here, I'm going to put the double and symbol. And I'm going to put another set of brackets. I'm going to say salary is less than or equal to 25,000. Then we do something. So what it's doing is it's doing two things. It's seeing if the salary is greater than or equal to 0, and if the salary is less than or equal to 25,000. So a number like 10,000 would definitely fit in here, right? It's bigger than 0, and it's less than 25,000. So anything in that range, this is how you would do it. So we can say something like, you should buy a compact car. Something like that. Now we're going to do another if for the middle one. And I'm going to chain this together. So I'm going to go else if. So else if means, like sometimes ifs, you want to have more than one else in it. So if this fails, right now it only goes here, right? But what if you want multiple things? And we can use else ifs. You can have an unlimited number of else ifs. Now in the else if, we've got to put another condition. We're going to do the same idea here. We're going to say salary is greater than this. I'm going to put greater than 25,000. I'm just worried about the 25,000 itself. Where would it go, right? If they're both equal. So I'm just going to put greater than 25,000 here. If it's greater than 25,000 and salary is less than or equal to 75,000, then I can say you should buy an SUV. And I'll do one more, else if, and I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, this time though I don't need two sets of brackets because I'm only checking if it's 75,000 plus. So I can just say if salary is greater than 75,000. If that happens, then I can say you should buy a luxury SUV. Okay, let's try it out. Let's run it and make sure this thing actually works. So let's try triggering the middle one here first. So I'll punch in 50,000 for my salary. So I'm going to say I'm 18 years old and I got 50,000 in salary. I'm old enough for a driver's license and I should buy an SUV. So this actually triggered, which is great. Okay. So these are a little bit about if statements. There's one last thing I'm going to show you though, and that's an or. So right now, the key word I'm using here is and. The double and symbol means and. If you need to do or, the way you would do it is it's basically two lines like this. How I'm getting to that is I'm hitting shift and then backspace. It's the one above my return key on the Mac keyboard. It's like two lines. You do two of them. This symbolizes the word or. So where you might see it, for example, would be something like this. If age is less than 0 or age greater than, I don't know, 150, something like that. Okay. Actually, it even allowed me to have no brackets on there. It might be a good idea to put these each in individual brackets, but it looks like it's not even needed anymore. Okay. So if the age is less than 0 or the age is greater than 150, you can do something like invalid age, because there's nobody over 150 and nobody less than 0, right? Let's test it out and trigger that thing. Let's put -5 as my age, and I still got to put a salary, and that still doesn't make a difference, but at least it triggered the invalid age. And if I do any other normal one, it shouldn't say that. So 25 years old, I make 90,000. We got no problem. So every once in a while you need to use the word or. So or is two lines, and it works exactly the way you would think it would work in your head, right? If the age is less than 0 or the age is greater than 150. As long as one of these two triggers, this will trigger. With and, both of them have to be true for this to work. So it has to be bigger than 0 and less than 25,000 for this to work. So anyways, this is a little demo of doing if statements in Java, a little bit about multi-condition ones and an or, and hopefully you learned a little bit about if statements from this video.